All right, so we've been talking about relations, and in this episode of Mathematics, we're going to specifically talk about relations that are a function. And a function is a specific relationship between values such as x and y, the coordinate point x and y, and each input x has exactly one output y value. Now I'm going to give you some examples here, or an example of a function, a relation that is an example of a function, and an example of a relation that is not. So if I were to give you this set of ordered pairs, so this would be 0, 6, 5, -2, 7, 9, and 11, -1. That is a function. There is an x value to each y value, 0 to 6, 5 to -2, 7 to 9, 11 to -1. Now, what is not a function is if I give you -4, 1, -1, 7, -1, -2, and 5, 6. Now, if you notice here, this -1 x value goes to both 7 and -2. So it doesn't have a unique, it's not a unique x value, so that's why it's not a function. All right, so let's look at some examples, and we've got two representations here in the top few, and as a set of ordered pairs, and then as a table. And it's really all I'm looking for is, does my x value repeat? I don't even need to look at the y value. The y value can repeat, it's the x that cannot. So if I look at number 1, I'm going to just talk about what my domain values is, or my x values. We've got 5, 3, 2, 0, and -1. So there's no x value here that repeats, so this would definitely be a function. Now, if I were to write this as my domain, I would need to write it from smallest to lowest. So that would be -1, 0, 2, 3, and 5. All right. So we are done with number 1, and let's look at number 2. So number 2, again, I'm going to list out my x values. So we've got -2, 0, 2, 3, and 2. So here the 2 repeats, so that makes it not a function. Okay, now remember, when I'm listing out my domain values, I'm going to list it from lowest to highest. That would be -2, 0, 2, and 3. Now, 2 is listed twice, but I'm going to only list it that one time. I'm not going to list it again. Okay? Now, 4, 3, and 4, I'm not going to go over there because this is pretty much the same thing. This is a really easy concept. So 5 through 10, again, all I need to see, do I have an x value repeats? So I have x, 3, and 3. That repeats there, so that is not a function. Okay, if I look at number 6, I've got -4, -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got no x value repeats, so this would be a function. Number 7, again, no x value repeats, so that is a function. Okay, so all of these, and look at number 9. So even though we have negative and positive, the negatives are opposite of the positive, so that is not the same value. So number 9 is still, don't get confused and think, oh, it's negative, it matches, because I have 4 and 4 here, but it's -4 versus 4. So this is a function. Also note your y value here repeats. It's -x each time, but that's okay. All we really need is that x value cannot repeat. So all you got to remember, does my x value repeat? My y can. All right, so now let's look at our table values, or our mapping values. Here it can kind of get a little tricky. It sometimes might help you to list out your ordered pairs. So think about -3 goes to 0. We've got -1, goes to 4. We've got 2 goes to 7. And then we've got 4 goes to 4. Okay, so I've listed out my ordered pairs that are in the mapping, and I'm just looking at the arrow, so that tells me 4 goes to this 4, this 2 goes to this 7. So that's all I'm doing here. Now, if I notice, my x value does not repeat, so that is a function. Now, number 12, let's talk about the number 12 as in ordered pairs. So this would be negative 4, 4, negative 1, negative 1, but negative 1 also goes to 7. So that right there, because negative 1 goes to 7 and negative 1, it fails. So that makes it not a function. All right, I will see you. That's going to be all I'm going to go over in this video. I will see you in the next video where I will go over a vertical line test. See you then.